Yo, welcome to the show where the energy's flown. It's your boy dropping heat. This is the Ozone. Step into the arena where legends are made. From the courts to the fields, watch the highlights played. Football, hoops, baseball, it's all fair game. If it's sports, we bring the fire, put respect on the name. Stats and debates, we break it all down. From the rookies to the GOATs who wear the crown. No halftime, all grind, we're setting the tone. It's prime time, baby, you're in the Ozone. Yo, it's passion, precision, the plays we dissect. From the underdogs, grinding to the Hall of Fame vets. This is more than a podcast, it's a sports throne. Let's kick it off right, welcome to the Ozone.
You have entered the Ozone with Omar and Dave.
Let's go, baby. We are here, and you guys have officially entered the Ozone. It's your boy Omar, and when we started this podcast, when we started the Ozone, I was looking forward for this particular time of the year. This particular time of the year. Because this is the time of the year where we are getting ready for the NBA playoffs, which means we getting ready for New York Knicks playoffs. This is going to be a good show, guys. Jam-packed show. We are going to break down the entire first round, everything that you need to know when it comes to the Knicks and versus the Detroit Pistons. But Yankee fans and Met fans, we still got you guys covered. We're still going to be talking about both teams in their respective segment. But we can't get this show started without introducing, you already know, my co-host, super producer Dave himself. Brother, it's a new week. How we feeling? And Dave is not here. We wrapping it up. We gonna keep it. Dave is having some technical issues, but that's okay. Guys, it's playoff time. Oh, he's here. He's here. Super producer Dave. You here?
I don't know, technical difficulties. The producer over here is just, the IT guy, the producer is having his own difficulties here. Brother, I'm excited. We are ready to cover Knicks playoff basketball. And before we jump into that, I do want to touch on something. So, Bad Bunny had a little tiny desk this past week that dropped, and I personally think it was wonderful. I want to say something when it comes to this. We live in a culture where if you don't receive exactly what you want, then people just want to trash it. So if you don't get the song, which is probably his best song out in the world right now, which is Baile Inolvidable, people just want to trash it because it's not exactly what they wanted. And you have to understand that if you are getting something from an artist, which he doesn't have to do to begin with, sometimes you should accept it. It's not like he's just giving you trash. First of all, he did the Tiny Desk with a bunch of Puerto Rican artists. So everyone who was with him was from Puerto Rico. These are people that he decided to bring them on. He's working with. And I feel like people just, like, once again, it's instant gratification. And if you don't get what you want, then it's automatically trash. The whole show was great. And I don't understand the conflict or whatever thing that somebody has to say negative about this, because once again, this is something that you didn't have to get. That's just my opinion on it. It was a great thing. Omar, if you have the chance, check it out. But I personally think it was a good one.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. I know that some people were like complaining that he didn't perform older songs, and it's just like he has a new album. Why would he perform old songs? Like, you promote your new songs. So,
Right.
and then obviously the tragic news in DR. Our prayers go out to the families. Ruby Perez and former Yankee and former Met pitcher Octavio Dotel. They were two of many lives. I think the count was over 200 of people that lost their lives in the roof collapsing of the nightclub Jet Set on Dominican Republic. So our prayers go out to the families that lost people in that incident. But guys, you know who about to lose? The Detroit Pistons, because they playing on New York Knicks. Let's get into it. Knicks playoff preview, baby, on This Week in Knicks.
This week in Knicks.
All right, y'all. This Week in Knicks, bro, we got it. They put up the graphic. It's a first round series of the Detroit Pistons. Obviously, guys, as of this recording, we don't know the dates and the times. Obviously, that's going to get worked out probably in the middle of the week once we get all the playing teams and that sort of stuff. But we do know that the New York Knicks are taking on the Detroit Pistons. One, I would like to say this. I am happy for the Detroit Pistons. That's one. They were a team that really sucked. Let's put it like that. They sucked for a lot of years. Obviously they I know they had like one a few years ago. They made the playoffs once, I believe, when they had Blake Griffin, but they really haven't had a team to really rally up for since obviously the days of Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace and that sort of thing. But hey, look, they're in the playoffs. They got the 6th seed. They're playing on New York Knicks. Um, and they beat us. They beat us 3 out of 4 times in the series, in the season series. But brother, let's get into that. Your initial thoughts though, because first there was a lot of before right now the Knicks on a little scared. It got some Knicks fans, not all, definitely not me. It got some Knicks fans feeling a little worried. You got a lot of Knicks fans, and I'm gonna get into this a little later because I'm just so sick of hearing Knicks fans cry about last year's team. But you got Knicks fans a little worried. Detroit got us this past week with a comeback. They got their crowd pumped. But what's your initial thoughts about Detroit? Because you had some Knicks fans, brother, so afraid that they were willing to like, hey, let's kind of tank and let's play Milwaukee in the first round.
I, when it comes to fans, I think the overreaction it shouldn't be overlooked because you can see this across many teams, but New York especially. Oh my God, the overreaction is just
It's ridiculous. It's really
why
ridiculous.
why even try, right? Why even compete? Why play the games? Because at this point, nothing is ever good enough for these people. Um, as far as Detroit is concerned, I am looking forward to the matchup. They are a team that they're hungry. They have something to prove. They haven't done anything in quite some time, and everyone has overlooked Detroit. They are like a few years ago, they were the equivalent of the Hornets. They
Last
had
year they were equivalent to the Hornets.
right. They were in purgatory for quite some time, and I do like the matchup. Kate Cunningham's a great talent. I don't like Isaiah Stewart. That's just I don't like him. Whatever, but it is a good matchup. And what I am looking forward to is Brunson is now coming off that injury. He is looking good, but I want to see him now with a few days more rest before we go into the playoffs. The team is gelling, but you know, I what do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about how many games we're winning, or we'll
Well,
get to
well,
that?
let no, because let's not get into that just yet. Because we got to go over the season matchups, and we look at it. The first game, that the two teams played was very early in the season, and that was the Knicks' only win against Detroit,
November 1st.
where they won 128-98, November 1st. That game was highlighted by Jalen Brunson, 36 points. Towns and OG both had 21. Bridges 15 and Hart 13. So they had a good run little there. And then you look at the second meeting in Madison Square Garden. Sorry guys, my laptop is like tripping right now. December 7th, where Detroit got us. They got us. They got a 120-111 win. But that game was played without Karl Anthony Towns. So Karl Anthony Towns missed that game. So I want you guys to just keep a record of that, okay? So the first game, obviously, early in the season, we didn't have Mitchell Robinson. This game, Karl Anthony Towns didn't play. Detroit got us. OG had 20, had 17. Mikal had 20. Brunson actually had a good game, 31, and so did Hart. But you look at Detroit, where Cade Cunningham had 29. Michael Beasley had a big game that night. He had 23 points. And then we look at the third game between the two teams, where we did have Karl Anthony Towns, so we were relatively healthy. We can't make excuses that Mitchell Robinson wasn't there. The Knicks lose that game by 5, 124-119. And that one, Kay Cunningham went off again, 36 points. Jalen Brunson, he had a strong game, 31 points. Towns had 26. Bridges had 27. OG kind of stunk that one at 10. And then you look at the last matchup that we saw this past week, and that brother had a real playoff vibe. Like the fans, those three meetings were still relatively kind of in the season where you're not thinking playoffs, especially not with Detroit's situation yet. But this game had a playoff feel. The fans of Detroit were rallied up. They were hyped. Now the Knicks did sit Josh Hart, OG Anunoby. They did sit I believe Mitchell Robinson was also out that game. So the Knicks fall 115 to 106, where that game the Knicks really had it down pat. But this is my thing, and we're gonna jump, back and forth, where Knicks fans were getting really upset about us losing that game, and it's understanding. It had a playoff feel, but I didn't put too much into that, brother. There was at one point in that game, Tom Thibodeau had the lineup of DeLon Wright, Campaign, Shamit, PJ Tucker, and Precious Achua. You're never going to see those five guys on the court at the same time during the playoffs. Never. You're not going to see them. So when Knicks fans are overreacting about, oh my God, like this and this, like you think, and mind you, that was still when I believe the Knicks had maybe about like a 7 or 8 point lead in the third quarter. Like you really think Tibbs is running that lineup during the playoffs? Like sometimes you got to be real with yourself. That game, I'm gonna give Detroit those 2 wins that they had, even one without that game without Cap. They played really really well, and in the NBA I think of all leagues, it's all about matchups. Detroit is very confident about the Knicks, as they should be. You take 3 out of 4 from a team, you should have the confidence rolling into the playoffs. But the playoffs is a different beast. How many playoffs do we have to see to go? Regular season sometimes don't matter. Don't matter. There's a lot of teams that you go, oh man, we swept this team in the season, and the playoffs they get steamrolled. Like it doesn't matter. The levels change in the playoffs. And then you have people like forgetting like what this Knicks team has done. And I get it. This is a first postseason coming in with Mikal. First postseason coming in with Karl Anthony Towns. But I saw what Karl Anthony Towns did with Minnesota last year. I saw what he did. I got confidence in this squad. I really do. Outside, Cade Cunningham, we are better than them in every position. I will slightly lean more towards bench with Detroit, and I say that very, very loosely because if we got Mitchell Robinson, we know we're gonna get for him. If Deuce produces a little well, and I like Landry Shamet, I want to see Landry Shamet in the playoff rotation. I know we spoke about this last week about who we want. I don't want to see Campaign. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care to see Campaign. I want Deuce, Shamet, and Mitch coming off the bench. That's our 8-man rotation. Obviously, you have Achua in the wings, just in case you get a little foul trouble with, OG or whatever, this and this and that. Same thing applies to DeLon Wright. I don't want to see Campaign. I want to see DeLon Wright, maybe for defensive purposes or whatever, if needed. But that's what I want. So I'm going to lean more towards the Knicks. I'm going to lean towards Detroit a little bit on the bench. But outside every position, obviously Cade Cunningham is the 2 guard. I will have Cade Cunningham over Mikal Bridges. I'm not biased enough to pick Mikal over Cade Cunningham. I'll pack Mikal's bag quick to get Cade Cunningham. But outside of that, I have the Knicks in every other matchup throughout the positions.
It's hard to argue that. I definitely just think that we are the stronger team outside of, like you said, the bench. And at the end of the day, like, all right, fine. People want to bring up the past, let's bring up the past. Do you remember what Jalen Brunson did in the playoffs last year? Brother. And mind you, he got hurt. I need people to, if you want to use history, then use that history as well. Because Brunson, probably, wasn't he the most clutch player of the year?
He's going to win it this year. I know that for sure.
So you're telling me the guy that, our captain, captain, you don't have faith in him getting it done? You don't have faith in Towns doing what he's been doing all season and showing you why we made that trade for him? And then you keep in the other pieces that we have? OG, Josh Hart. Like, come on. Like, this is what I don't get. Like, I get it. We had a bad skid going into the end of the season and whatever. Like, at this point, the Knicks haven't played the Brooklyn Nets. I don't think we're going to lose. But even if we lost, that still doesn't shake any confidence that I have going into this game. If Tibbs wants to rest his guys, which I doubt Tibbs wants to do because Tibbs is like a Bill Belichick, I'm going to play my guys. Like, it's
Yeah,
just,
sure.
it's ridiculous to me how the fans react. At this point, we can react to a loss, but we don't have to overreact to it.
We don't
That's
have to burn the damn house. And that's the thing. And you have guys, I've been a Knicks fan.
your whole life.
I can't even say how long. My whole life. I've watched some very horrible teams. Horrible teams. I've seen horrible lineups, and I know there's a lot of Knicks fans watching. I have too. There are fans, brother, that are saying this team is trash.
Isn't this our best record
We've seen trash.
in quite some time? This is our best record in quite some time. Am I not right?
We've seen it. So to go and say this team is trash is unbelievable.
Look at this lineup that I'm going to post right now and tell me, are we not in a better position? My bad, brother. Keep going.
It's okay to uh critique this team. We've said it since we've started this show, brother. It's expectations. I get it. Met fans, watch the Knicks. Because this is what I think the Mets season is going to turn into. Because expectations brings a pressure. This is why so many people revere last year's team. Last year's team is still not beating the Celtics. Last year's team is still not beating the Cavs. You can play all your old ass highlights, but last year's team is not beating those teams. And this whole thing of, toughness. Toughness don't win you damn games. Because last time I checked, we don't look at the Celtics as a team that's going to beat us up. We don't look at the Cleveland. What? We call Cleveland soft for 2 years. Cleveland's kicked our ass. They're not looked at as tough. Is OKC looked at as tough? No. Okay, yeah. Have some grit. Yeah, you got guys like Dante and all that, Julius, that will have a little bit of grit. But toughness ain't winning games. You're going to watch it in this series. You're going to see Isaiah Stewart try to get his little toughness and see where that's going to get him. Look, Detroit is going to give us some issues. 100%. Detroit ain't winning this series, though, because you know why? I don't think they can score outside Cade Cunningham. Now, this is all going to be dependent on the Knicks' defense. The Knicks are in the bottom third of the league when it comes to guarding the three-point line.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're going to do. Detroit they're going to crash and dish. That's what they're going to do. They're going to try to hit up their shooters, Beasley, Tim Hardaway. That's what they're going to do. They're going to crash the boards with Durant and Stewart. The Knicks, like I said, is Detroit going to pose some issues? Yes. Cade Cunningham is averaging 30 points a game, 8 assists against the Knicks this season. I don't expect those numbers to drop. I don't. But it's different. It's different in the playoffs. It's different in the playoffs. And as you touched on, brother, we still got the best player on the court. I don't care what the hell ESPN is saying. ESPN just wants to create this narrative, obviously because it's the whole Knicks with clicks thing, saying that Detroit Pistons have the best player on the floor. I don't care who you said. I'm taking a 2-time All-Star, I'm taking a man that has proven it in the playoffs. We got the best player on the floor.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ride with the captain every single time. So, before we
And
go with our predictions, you got anything to add, brother?
I mean, look, when it comes to the Knicks right now, like the one thing you just referenced is the defense. That's the only thing that does concern me with going is, and I've said this since the beginning, since we started the show, brother. That is the only thing that I think that I want to harper on, and it's something that I would love to see increase or just do better, make adjustments that make it better. Right now, the Knicks are ranked 25th in defensive rebounds. They're ranked 29th in blocks. They are ranked 19th in overall offensive rebounds. My bad. Total rebounds 24th. Like these are the things that make, and 14th in steals. These are not numbers that give me confidence, but that changes once we get to the playoffs. We're not
Yeah.
looking at the stats of the whole league anymore. We're looking at how
Right.
the Knicks will perform and how Tibbs adjusts. And I feel like this team can get it done.
Yeah,
But they're
the narrative, as you said, the narrative changes once the postseason.
right.
If Mikal Bridges goes and puts lockdown defense, averages about 20 points in this series, shoots the ball well, this whole narrative about him erases. But then it'll come. We're Knicks fans, so it's gonna come back the minute he has a bad game in Game 1 against the Celtics. This is a series that maybe the Knicks needed. Detroit's as a hungry team. I just don't think they have enough firepower to outmatch the Knicks. The Knicks are not gonna just fold and flop. The Knicks are not gonna just let Detroit bully them. Guys, look at the context of these games in the regular season. The Knicks the Knicks have had in the first game that they won, that was pretty much a blowout. The second game, they really let Detroit get into a hot start where they had let Detroit get 39 points to their 23 in the first quarter. Then the Knicks outscored Detroit in the second and the third, and then in the fourth quarter, Detroit kind of had a little run. You look at the second game, you look at the third game between the two. The Knicks let Detroit get into another hot start in the first quarter. The Knicks then followed up or whatever, and they lost by 5. This last game against the Detroit Pistons, the Knicks started off hot. You know what I mean? The Knicks started off hot that last game. And they actually outscored Detroit in the first quarter. So you look at the games where the Knicks outscored Detroit in the first quarter, they've won. This is what they're gonna have to do in the postseason. This is what you're gonna do in the playoffs. This is gonna be a game changer for the Knicks. Because the Knicks, a young team, you're gonna have the Garden rocking. The Garden's gonna be rocking. You go into a fast start, go 10-point, 8-point lead. You get a little like 12-2 run to start the quarter. That Garden crowd rocking. The pressure, it builds. It builds, and these young kids are gonna fold. But you can't give them the confidence. You can't give them the confidence. The games that the Knicks lost to the Pistons outside of the last game, the Knicks have been outscored in the first quarter. And I'm like I said earlier, brother, I'm throwing away that last game because the rotations, just the way Tibbs running the rotation, the 3 major players that didn't play, I'm not putting much into that game. But the first 3, where the Knicks have outscored Detroit in the first quarter, they've won that game. I have no worries in this series. Like I said, the Knicks are going to get tested, and maybe we need to. I really think the Knicks are just coasting to the playoffs. I really think that was it. The Celtics game, they won it. You could tell, and look how we played against the Celtics. And that's more little stuff on Thibodeau and more little things that I would hope clean up. If anything, I was a little bit more worried about that than the Detroit game. This Knicks team is focused. I don't care if you got Cunningham, Virginia ham, spray some Pam on that pan, green eggs and ham. Knicks in 5.
Hard to
Simple as
argue that,
that.
brother. That was going to be my prediction. I think Detroit does take one, and I think it may be in their home. But I think we got this, bro. I like.
And guys, I just want to let y'all know, I did. So for those that were inquiring, I did look. It's kind of similar, brother. The ticket prices. It's very similar to last year. I remember last year when the Knicks played the Pacers. It was actually cheaper to fly to Indiana, get a game there, buy tickets there, and it'll be cheaper than Madison Square Garden. So I did check because I'm like, man, should I fly to Detroit? And I'm not going to because I can't right now. However, I I checked last 2 days ago, cheapest ticket for Game 3 of Detroit, and it was already announced that the Knicks is there. So I don't want to put it like, oh, this was because before the Knicks were announced. Game 3 in Detroit, the get-in price was $100. So, and I believe right now in Madison Square Garden, it's well over three. That's for one ticket. So, guys, New York to Detroit. That's a less than a 2 hour flight, y'all. So y'all might want to consider that if you guys are headed to the game. But Knicks in 5, like I said, uh let's go New York. We got this. Send Detroit pack it. So let's move on, brother. Let's move on to a little bit of baseball because the New York Mets are rolling. Let's get into it on an amazing rundown.
The amazing rundown. It's about the Mets, baby. Love the Mets. All right, baby. Let's go. Get a home run, baby. Love the Mets. Let's go, Mets.
All right, y'all. So the amazing rundown is where we talk about them boys from Queens. And, brother, the Mets had a good week. The Mets had a good week. They took 2 out of 3 at home to the Marlins, winning the first game 2-0 and 10-5. They did lose the potential sweep game 5-0, but it is what it is. They could bounce back and beat the A's 7-6. They lose 3-1 on Saturday, and obviously, guys, at this recording, we don't know if their game with the A's is at 4 o'clock. Like we said, we record on Sundays. But all in all, brother, the Mets had a great week. Right now, they're sitting at 9-5, so they're tied for first in their division. And what I like, man, is their pitching, and we spoke about it last week. That has been the most surprising part when it comes to this team is their pitching. Their pitching has been phenomenal. Between Peterson and Canning, they have really, they and Tyler Miguel, they have really done well with this pitching staff. And that was the question heading into the season for them.
Yeah. For me, when it comes to the Mets, you know who's the bright spot for me? Pete Alonso,
Oh,
the
it's
guy
gotta
that
be
they almost,
Petey. It's
the
gotta
guy
be
they,
Petey. The
you
guy
know,
that
the
were
guy
ready
they
to
didn't,
pack his bags.
right? They want Vlad. That's who they wanted. They were ready to get him out and ship him out. And look at Pete.
Petey
It's
is
one of those bright
balling.
spots that you're kind of happy for him. As an outsider who's been watching the Mets, and I told you guys, like, I am not going to act like I'm a complete 100% fan, but I am happy to see that Pete Alonso is doing well with the team that he wanted to stay with. So just don't count your chickens before they hatch, Mets fans.
Yeah, you speaking of Petey, and Petey's batting right now at 321. He's got 3 home runs. He was in the lead, but Brandon Nimmo's balling. So he's got 11 RBIs. So he's balling right now. He's got that 1 year deal that he signed, I think, with the player option. He's gonna get paid, and we're gonna touch on the Vladdy thing on quick hits. But right now, he's gonna get paid, and they're gonna pay him. And I mentioned Brandon Nimmo has 4 home runs. Brandon Nimmo's been playing. I think he's been playing really well. He's batting 250, but I've watched his at bats, and he looks really good. The guy I want to talk about is Juan Soto, and this is not, guys. This is not something that I'm not going to crap on him. I know it's very early in the season. It's only 14 games. However, um, from what I've watched from him, and I like to think that I'd like to say that I've watched pretty much all the Mets games this season. He's pressing a lot. You can tell. I don't know if the contract is kind of getting to him a little bit, but he's had a few at bats where he's swinging at pitches that he doesn't normally swing at. And right now, 14 games and 49 at bats, he's got 13 hits, 4 doubles, 1 home run, 4 RBIs. Right now, his projected, if he's in that pace, if he continues that pace, brother, 162. He's projected to finish with 12 home runs, 46 RBIs. Obviously, he's not going to finish with those numbers. He's not. He's not going to. But at the end of the day, you also don't pay a man nearly 800 million. Or did he get 800 million? It's
With the
800.
bonuses, I think he goes and
Yeah,
clears over
800
eight.
million dollars to have those kind of numbers. I'm sorry. And right now, I like I said, I know he's gonna pick it up, but he's gonna have to pick it up. He's gonna have to pick it up.
He has to at this point, and it's not. I don't want to trash him because at the end of the day, like it's one of those like things that if you're a Yankee fan and you're talking about Juan Soto, it seems like you're being a hater. It's more so like, yo, as an observer of baseball,
It's an
observer of
observation
sports,
thing at the end of the day.
the
You know what I
guy's
mean?
playing
He's
like garbage right now, and that's just
yeah,
as good, as clear as it can be. You don't get paid 800 million and do what you're doing. You only have one home run for the whole year. You're literally
yeah.
like you're not looking good, and there's something that has to change. Something will click. Maybe give him a torpedo bat at this point, but something change it. Like give everything a shot at this point, because at the end of the day, like this is not what the Mets fans have signed up for, and this is not what anybody who watches baseball would want to see unless you're a hater. So I think Juan Soto picks it up, but this is something that definitely has to be looked at and commented on. This is not what if Mets fans can call out Juan Soto right now, because here's the thing, right? You guys are being supportive of your guy. You guys are really just really quiet about him. As far as like, the comments that I've seen. Had that man been a Yankee, would you guys be so quiet?
Oh yeah, 100%. No, you're
So
right.
be critical of your guys. That's all I'm saying. Just don't be mad at like us calling it out, because we're just doing
Yeah,
what we're about to do with the Yankees right now, because the Yankees didn't do so great this week, and we're gonna have to call that out as well.
we're gonna call that out. I think Francisco Lindor's got to pick it up as well.
Yes, he does.
So he needs to pick it up. So, like I said, the lineup is not where we thought, but they will be getting back Jeff McNeil pretty soon, Francisco Alvarez pretty soon, so maybe that will change things. But they're finding ways to win games. It's because of Pete Alonso and their pitching. Their pitching has been good. Edwin Diaz has looked a little shaky. He did give up some runs in Miami, that last game against Miami, and then he did give up some runs. He almost blew the save the first game against Oakland. So uh, Edwin Diaz, I'm going to say that it's more weather than anything right now, but the Mets still had a decent week. So let's talk about before we get started with the Yankees, and guys, just bear with me right now. Let's talk about right now the Mets schedule ahead. And we did a little thing. I noticed that brother in our graphic of the schedule ahead. I'm like, wait a minute, people probably don't know when's that at home, when's the team on the road. So I try to clarify. So as you can see, Dave has the graphic up now. The Mets this week will be playing the Twins April 14th, 15th, and 16th. It's highlighted in blue, which means that it's on the road. So they will be playing the Minnesota Twins at Minnesota, followed by a 4-game set back at Citi Field against the Cardinals the 17th, 18th, 19th, and the 20th. So as I touched on, and I'm gonna continue to repeat myself, Dave and I are not gonna be counting this into our bet. But brother, I'm gonna start off. I think the Mets win both. I think the Mets win both series. I don't. I do think they win 2 out of 3, and I do think they win 3 of the 4 games against St. Louis. I know four game series are really difficult, um, to win. But I do think that the Mets. I think the Mets are just a much better team than the Cardinals. So I have the Mets winning both series.
Yeah, and right now you have what Minnesota's playing. They're 4-11. That's not great, and St. Louis is 6-8 too. So right now, I have all confidence in both series being won by the Mets. And the other guys, I think they're gonna get it along. It's April still. That's the other part, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like when I mentioned the Juan Soto thing, it's just an option. It's just brother. Like we've said this, and you've said this. That contract, it's just a big microscope. It's a microscope under him. It's just that simple. It's gonna be like that. I remember when A-Rod signed that $100 million deal, when he went to Texas, like every season was looked at as, okay, like it's when you're getting it comes with it, man. You're getting paid, you're the highest paid baseball player. It's gonna come with that. It's gonna come with that. So you gotta be able to take it. It's just that simple. It's that simple. You gotta be able to take it. And I'm sorry, the numbers he's pulling out right now is not ideal. It's not ideal for a guy that you're paying that you gave $800 million to. It's not. It's really not. And I think you touched on it. If he was wearing, I think obviously if he was wearing a Yankee uniform, Met fans would feel the same way how we feel. Or if he was wearing any other uniform, it would be the same thing. We would have that same energy towards him, towards his performance so far.
Yeah, and that's just us once again observing. Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully that turns around because if Juan Soto gets it going with this Mets team playing the way they're doing, I literally the expectations are
Yeah.
what they
And
should be. They literally
yeah.
are because that is the one piece that I feel like is holding them back from being the exact Mets that we feel like they should have been coming into the season. We thought that we're gonna be almost cursed again. We thought the apple would be coming up every time we see Juan Soto.
Uh, uh,
So we'll
uh.
see.
And the good thing is, like you said, the silver lining for them is that they're playing well with him not playing well. Wait, no, let me preface this. They're playing well with him not being Juan Soto because he's still having the good at bats. And I don't want to take away that. He's having good at bats. He is getting on base. But the level that he should be getting on is just not quite there yet for the money you're giving him.
Right.
That's it. But speaking of money we're giving, this next team is giving money to players that, one, are showing it so far that they deserve it, and there's others that's showing why the hell did we give them this contract. Let's get into it on the Pinstripes Report.
The Pinstripe Report.
All right, y'all, the Pinstripes Report is where we cover the Bronx Bombers. And the Bronx Bombers did everything but hit bombs because this was not a good week for the Yankees. Honestly, they didn't look good against Detroit. The first two games, they were basically shut out. The offense didn't go. Now, I know it was severely cold in Detroit, but as Aaron Judge, the captain, said, Detroit's playing in this weather too. So there's no excuses. Right now, I want to talk. The Yankees were able to salvage the last game of the series. The Yankees got smacked up on Friday, but they bounced back Saturday. And as we touched on as of this recording, the Yankees will be wrapping up. They'll have their rubber game with the San Francisco Giants. So far the Yankees lost 2 of 3, and then they split 1-1. So that is a that's a what is that? Come on, help me, brother. That's a 2-3 start to the week.
Yeah.
Last week they had that last week too. But right now the Yankees are 8-6, and they are, I believe, they're first in their division, right, brother? Can you check that for me real
I'll
fast?
double check that. Yep.
They're 8-6. Right now the pitching has been a huge issue for the Yankees. Um, Carlos Rodon has been straight ass.
Yep.
He
They're
had a
first.
great opening day start. They're first?
Yep.
Okay, they're first. He had a great opening day start. We praised him on his show, on his performance. Other than that, he hasn't been good. Now, I will give him credit where he's given us length. Although he's given up a lot of runs, he's pitching into the sixth inning, so he's protecting the bullpen to a certain degree. He hasn't been good. Marcus Stroman on Friday couldn't get out the first inning. Marcus Stroman, pack your damn bags. I'll help him pack. The guy looks so disinterested. It's not even funny.
With the leg injury.
Yeah, apparently now you have a knee injury. Why the hell did Aaron Boone start him then? Why would you start a pitcher, right? In rainy conditions, the conditions were horrible. Why would you start a pitcher on a bum knee on a rainy day where the surface, the dirt, and all that? Like, why would you do that? I think that's baloney. You hear the tea leaves that they're gonna probably designate him, uh, um, Clark Schmidt just had a rehab start, looked good, so he's coming back up. So you're hearing he's going to get designated for assignment. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it was, brother, to buy him time.
Mm-hmm.
But Marcus Stroman got to bounce, bro. One, you're not a team guy because, we already went through it where he said he's not a bullpen guy. I'm a starter, blah, blah, blah. You're not a starter. You're barely an MLB pitcher, brother. Like, you're barely an MLB pitcher. You couldn't even get 3 outs in the first inning. Your ass got tattooed, and you couldn't even get 3 outs in the first inning. The silver lining right now about this Yankee rotation is that, just like we said about the Mets offense, it's early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Shout outs to Max Fried. All those people so far who criticized the Yankees on the deal that they gave Max Fried did what we said in the preview show and what I said we were going to be missing with Garrett Cole, and you mentioned now with Cole being out, him being the ace. He did what ace pitchers do when in Detroit this past week. Yankees are riding a 3-game losing streak. You come in and end it real quick. That's what he did. 7 innings, 11 strikeouts. It wasn't a career high because he had 13 against the Boston Red Sox, coincidentally, which is crazy. A guy who played his career in the National League, his career strikeouts was against the Boston Red Sox. Wouldn't mind him doing that again this year for us. But he came in and did what an ace does. Will Warren, and we've been big fans of him on this show,
He
he
redeemed
came
himself.
through on Saturday and pitched really well. I like Will Warren. I'm happy that even Marcus Stroman is getting his ass smacked because now we're gonna have Will Warren there longer. I think Will Warren definitely stays now. I don't even think they send him down. But right now the Yankees rotation as it stands, I believe, has an ERA of 6.02. I think it's probably higher because I think I got this note from when even before the Stroman. So brother, when you can, just please look that up if you could.
Gotcha.
That was before the Stroman start, so I'm pretty sure it's probably higher than that. But and another concern is guys have kind of like you don't. It's funny because you mentioned this with the Mets. You don't hear nothing about torpedo bats now, right? The torpedo talk is gone. You know what I'm saying? This is why I felt people made it a big deal when it shouldn't have been a big deal. So obviously, Jazz Chisholm has kind of cooled off a little bit, but I want to throw in Bellinger just a tad, man. But shout outs to Ben Rice and Paul Goldschmidt, because those guys have been raking. Ben Arroz, yeah, he's
Uncle
cooking
Ben.
right now. And shout outs, can we say Uncle Ben on this?
I don't know. Ask Spidey.
Can we say, hey, are we allowed to say Uncle Ben? Because I don't know. I don't know, Uncle Ben. Shout out to Uncle Ben. But he's been playing really well. Paul Goldschmidt, man, I watched him the other day in San Francisco, man. And, Anthony Rizzo wasn't no slouch at first base, man. But Paul Goldschmidt is just an elite defender. And so far, he is raking right now. He's batting well over 300. I'm not going to mention the captain because you know what? We just expect that from Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is that guy. But, the Yankees right now, the rotation, they got to get it together. And
Team
then you have
ERA.
Devin Williams.
Team
Go ahead,
ERA
brother.
4.72.
Oh, so it's a 4.72. Shout out to Will Warren. He probably lowered that because and where are we ranked? Where is it ranked right now? 4.72.
Oh, this stat doesn't have ranked.
Okay, but so right now, Max Fried's ERA is 1.56. So this was a day ago. Shout outs to Max Goldman. He tweeted this out. Max Fried 1.56 ERA. Carlos Rodon 5.19. Marcus Stroman 11.57. Get your ass out of here. He's getting shipped. Carlos Carrasco is a 7.71, and then Will Warren's a 6.6 even. But as I touched on, that was before his performance against the Giants, so I'm pretty sure that's lowered.
It's 5.14 now.
It's a what?
5.14.
5.14. So, like we said with the Mets offense, I do think the Yankees pitching is going to pick it up, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna talk about this later on in the season, brother. If the Yankees are going to have any real success, and I mean real success, I mean success where we're getting back to the World Series. This is not even winning the division. This is not even getting into the playoffs. This is like real success. They're going to have to bring in another horse because I just don't trust Rodon to complement Max Fried. And I think it's too much pressure to put on Luis Hill, too much pressure to put on Clark Schmidt, and too much pressure to put on Will Warren. We got to get an ace like starter. We need a 1-2 punch. Sandy Alcantara is going to be available, but there's going to be a lot of teams fighting for him. But the Yankees got to find a way to get a pitcher like that in the trade deadline because that rotation, even although I don't think Carrasco and Stroman stay there throughout the year, but even if you add Luis Hill and Clark Schmidt, that rotation is not getting us to the World Series.
No, and I agree. I think that's the one thing that we do need to adjust as far as that. I don't feel like this lineup needs to do much adjustment. I think as far as our hitting goes, I think what we really need is that pitcher who's going to set the tone with Max Fried.
Yeah, and man, I forgot to mention this. I'm looking at this right now. I forgot to mention this in the Mets segment about Luis Severino. I forgot to mention that. Oh well.
Go say it.
Well, yeah, Luis Severino. He's on the Oakland A's, obviously former Yankee, so there is some connection to the Yankees. No, he had said publicly that he had told his agent that he was willing to take a 2-year, $40 million extension. So that was actually a pay cut. That was going to pay him $20 million a year. I think he said he was getting paid 20. He was getting paid 23, but the Mets elected to. They wanted to give him the same deal they gave Frankie Montas, which was two for 34. And you think about this, they could use Severino. Severino was very good for them, but who knows if that had an effect? If that was a Juan Soto effect, you know what I mean? With them giving Juan Soto so much money, they kind of had to like, they it kind of took away from Severino. But I think Severino, looking at that deal right now, 2 years for 40, he might be a guy that might be available at the deadline, depending on where the A's are. So that might be a player to look at too for the Yankees. Maybe bring back Sevy. But so let's talk about the bullpen has been pretty solid for the Yankees. Devin Williams is looking like Clay Holmes right now, where it's like, you're already worried. You know what I mean? And we didn't think we were going to get that. But he came in with a 4-run lead in the ninth inning in the Detroit, almost blew that game. Then on Saturday, he comes in with a 4-run lead, allows the first two guys on, but then he got two big strikeouts and a ground out. I don't want people to think I'm biased, but I think that's going to be the switch. I think that's going to be the switch. It looks like he found something, so hopefully that's it. But Devin Williams is a little concerning, but I hope he picks it up. We do not
Yeah,
need another like Clay Holmes kind of style cardiac affair every ninth inning. And shout
yeah.
outs to Aroldis Chapman. He blew the game for the Boston Red Sox. And I'm like, wow, that looks familiar. But let's look at the Yankee season ahead, guys. And the same thing as I touched on with the Mets. It's now highlighted to know which is home, which is road. Dave has the graphic as the Yankees start the week against the Kansas City Royals. So it's a rematch of the first round of the playoffs last year, where the Yankees beat the Royals in 4 games, was it? Yeah, 4 games. April 14th, 15th, and 16th at the stadium, followed by a 4-game set at Tampa in the Yankee spring training facility. What's funny, brother? I'm gonna be in your house that weekend. And I was really considering about going to that game, but we got so much work, and I know your crib from Tampa is still a little ride. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But the Yankees got a 4-game set with the Tampa Bay Rays. Brother, I started off first with the Mets. What's your prediction on these series?
Oof. I'm gonna say we take the series, the first one, against Kansas City. I say we take it, and then Tampa. I feel we win that one as well. Um, I don't think we sweep either one though. Just
Okay.
the way this team is built, I don't think we're sweeping right now.
Okay. So you got 2 out of 3 against KC, and then you have 3 out of 4 against Tampa.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I agree with you with the KC. I do think we go 2 out of 3. However, Tampa gives us a run. I don't think we win that series. I think we split it at best. I think we go 2-2. So a 500 series there. Tampa's been playing really well. And one thing I didn't know, brother, is their schedule's really different. Because they're playing outdoors now, and then we know about the I was gonna say how do you pronounce? I can't say that word. Unpredictability. What is it? Unpredictable weather that we get in the summer here in South Florida. That Tampa they're front loading a lot of their home games. So I don't even think Tampa has played a road game yet this season. So that's something to look out for. I think that might be something in the Yankees' favor as the season progresses, because Tampa's going to be looked at as one of these teams that's going to compete in the division for with the Yankees. And right now they're playing a lot of their home games because of the uncertainty of how the weather is in the summer. So they're going to have a lot of road games in the during the summer part of the season. But I do think the Yankees split. So and I think that's best case scenario because Tampa does give us a hard time. So we got that. So guys, we're gonna get into our favorite segment. Let's get into it. This is Quick Hits. Alrighty, y'all. This is Quick Hits. This is where we cover everything around the globe, where the hits are so quick you don't see it coming. Brother, this has been a crazy NBA season as another playoff team fired their head coach before the start of the playoffs, as Denver Nuggets fired championship winning coach Mike Malone 2 games before the start of the postseason. Brother, what are we making of this situation?
So this is another firing that makes me think that we have a problem when it comes to our star players in the NBA, because we know that the Grizzlies move was definitely impacted by John Morant. And we can also we were it came out this week that Jokic was informed that they were going to let go of Mike Malone. And I don't know what teams are thinking as they're heading into the playoffs to decide to fire their coach right before. Now, of course, when it comes to any sport, it's the people who are on the field or on the court or wherever it is. They make the game, right? But there's adjustments. There's a reason why there are coaches on every team. And I don't know how you remove a coach 2 years after. It's not like, unless the guy did something egregious, something that it's a fireable offense.
Well, you heard the Russell Westbrook stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, go into
So
it.
yeah, apparently Russell Westbrook was getting the same kind of perks as Murray and Joker, and apparently that kind of rubbed players the wrong way. And then I forgot to mention they did fire their GM as well, Calvin Booth, and there was already like smoke between Calvin Booth and Michael Malone, and Michael Malone is more towards playing the vets. Calvin Booth wanted Michael Malone to play more towards the young guys. So it's a clean slate. It's definitely, but I find that very hard to believe that Joker had no parts in it. I know they said, he kind of referenced that they informed him and he was like, okay, whatever's best for the team. But if Joker wanted Mike Malone there, Mike Malone would still be coaching them.
Yeah.
What I want to do is I want to just highlight really quickly is these stupid Knicks fans that are now talking about we should hire Mike Malone. And although Mike Malone is a championship winning coach, and I would not mind Mike Malone coaching the Knicks, but at the same time, you look at his coaching style, and it's very similar to the guy you complain about, which is Tom Thibodeau.
Right.
Mike Malone plays his starters a lot of minutes. Mike Malone doesn't really play the young guys, and you can say, oh, he played Christian Braun. But he played Christian Braun because they did lose Caldwell Pope and they did lose Bruce Brown after winning their championship. Yeah, he played them a little bit during their championship run, but however, like he's a veteran guy. He's a good coach. Now he's been linked to San Antonio, which I think would be a good fit. But right now it's tough. Denver's like right in the swing of things. So I found
Yeah.
it was very surprising.
He's a very outspoken coach too, so I feel like if he
Yeah, I
was
do
ever,
like that. I do like
yeah,
that. I do like that too. That he holds his guys accountable. I do like that.
yep, very outspoken. I think the New York media would love to have him, here in New York.
Yeah.
Um, Moving on, bro. ESPN Shams reports that Portland Trail Blazers and coach Chauncey Billups agreed to a multi-year contract extension. Was this the right move, bro?
I believe it. I think so. We spoke about it when the Knicks played the Portland Trail Blazers during our This Week in Knicks segment a few episodes back. Chauncey Billups got them boys playing right, and they really follow what he's preaching, and that's how you build structure into a franchise, and you build an identity. Chauncey Billups is doing that with this squad. He's got these young guys. These young guys are committed to him, and like I said, I do expect Portland to be this time next year battling for a playing spot. I do think they're that talented, and that Chauncey's going to get them guys to that situation. So shout out to Chauncey. Congratulations to him. This past week, brother, a guy that was really touted by a team here in this city, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and the Toronto Blue Jays finally agree on an extension, 14 years, 500 million with a $325 million signing bonus. Brother, what's your thoughts on this deal?
They didn't get left at the altar, bro. They got
Nope.
their guy, and I
Nope. They
called it.
paid for love. They
I
paid for love.
I called it. I think it was just a bunch of fluff to get the agent going and get these rumors out there so they can finally lock down their guy and give him what he wanted. Now, the guy thought he was going to get Juan Soto money, which I just at the end of the day don't feel like.
Buddy, think about it, brothers. 500 mil, 325 the signing bonus. So obviously, is this recording? I'm not sure. Because usually a signing bonus, you get it when you're signing. So I'm wondering, like, yo, did he get a check for $325 million? It's crazy, but I looked at the average. I believe the average is like 35 million a year. But he got his bread. I'm not gonna front. I gotta chuckle. I gotta chuckle because this news came out like a couple days of the air of our episode last week aired, and that was when I got on Met fans for giving him a standing ovation in their home opener. While you got your guy that's slugging there, and coincidentally, this guy signs.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. Congratulations, Blue Jays and Blue Jay fans.
Yeah, congratulations to him. Yeah, yeah.
This,
They
this,
finally got their guy.
they got their guy. He didn't leave him. Moving on. We have one who's not getting fired, and that's Alan Lazard. Lazard and the Jets agreed to a restructured contract that saves the Jets 8.5 million. Was this the right move for both parties?
I think so. Lazard is a veteran guy. You know what I mean? I think if he would have stood on a team with a salary, I felt like I would have been like, hey, kudos to him, and the Jets. It would have sucked, but you save the Jets money. I'm surprised. I thought he was going to maybe try to ask for a buyout or try to leave or whatever, so then he can follow his boy Aaron Rodgers. But he's probably looking at it like, bro, this guy's taking too long. I can't let money go by. I can't, you know what I mean? So, apparently maybe he seems more comfortable enough to stay in the Jets. It doesn't hurt the Jets on a budget thing. He's not really gonna steal touches from Garrett Wilson. So, hey, I'm not mad at it. What about you? That's a team you gotta not worry about, but that's a team you face twice a year. That's a team you don't like. What do you think?
Lazard doesn't scare me, and I feel like he doesn't. I mean, like the guy was
Yeah,
just
no, I
barely
don't blame him.
he was
Yeah,
barely average when he was on the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. So at the end of the day,
yeah.
um, it doesn't move the needle for me, but what I am interested in seeing with the Jets, as much as I hate them, is how it plays out with Justin Fields. So that's going to be definitely a different dynamic to look at that team. Like you go from Aaron Rodgers to Justin Fields and the way they play, the play styles and everything. I'm not going to say he's not going to make boneheaded picks, which I'm hoping for go against come against the Patriots, but um, that's the person I'm looking at when it comes to this team. And then you also hear rumors of Brees Hall, maybe being shipped out. So we'll see.
They're gonna have to pay him, so that's
Yeah.
gonna be man. That's a tough spot.
Yep. Uh,
But right now, so right now, as of this recording, we know that the Eastern Conference playing matchups are set. Tonight, the Orlando Magic is taking on. They're hosting the Atlanta Hawks, and then the Bulls is going to be hosting the Miami Heat. Brother, which of these teams you have taken the final two playoff spots in the Eastern Conference?
Living in Orlando, I'm going to support the Magic. It's only because I want some free Chick-fil-A
Yeah,
sandwiches. If they,
the Magic is the I'll let you finish, and I'm gonna tell you what I want to see. But go ahead.
Right. I want to see the Magic win, and it's more so selfish to hungry reasons. I want Chick-fil-A sandwiches to keep going. So
You think they'll
definitely,
do that in the playoffs? You think they'll do it in the playoffs?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
But I got the Magic winning that one, and plus I don't like Trey Young, so forget the Hawks. And then out of Chicago and the Heat, I got the Bulls winning that one. The Heat are trash this year. I don't know how they even got a chance to get into the play-in, but
Yeah,
their record shows why they're playing for that play-in.
yeah, they've
So
been in the playing for a few years.
I think the Bulls got this one.
But who do you have the final spots? Because remember, all right, let me preface this. I forgot, guys. So those that don't know, the Orlando Magic and the Atlanta Hawks are the seventh and eighth seed, so they're going to be playing for the seventh seed. The winner will get the seventh seed. Then the loser will get another opportunity at the eighth seed where they'll play the winner of the Bulls and Heat, which are the ninth and tenth seed. So Dave will have a graphic for that to at least so you can visually see it. So Dave has Orlando winning the seventh seed, which means Atlanta's gonna take on the winner of you got Chicago beating Miami.
Yep,
Okay, so who do you have Chicago and Atlanta? So who do you have taking the eighth seed then?
I got Chicago winning that one too.
Oh, you know what's funny? We I have that exact same thing, same scenario. Now, in a perfect world, I would want Orlando to lose to Atlanta because I want Orlando to play Cleveland because I really think they can beat them. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me on that. As I touched on when we covered the Knicks, styles make fights, and it's all about matchups in the NBA. Orlando gives Cleveland issues. Orlando has they they have the defense that can contain them. Obviously, they can't score like Cleveland, but they don't have an answer for Paulo and Franz Wagner balling. Jalen Suggs, I wish they had Jalen Suggs, but that's what I would want to see. But I got it with you. I think Atlanta does beat. I think Orlando beats Atlanta. They don't go on to play the Celtics, and hopefully they give the Celtics a little tough matchup. But then I have Chicago. I actually have Chicago beating Miami and Orlando. I mean, and Atlanta. Chicago's been balling. Shout outs to Kobe White. They've been cooking, man. They've been playing. They've been playing.
Hide your
They've
kids.
been playing really well. How'd your kid? Josh Giddey balling too. Yeah, he's balling.
All right. Lastly, this Wednesday, AEW Dynamite will become the longest-running primetime weekly show to be on TNT TBS history. What's your thought on this milestone, bro?
Uh, you know what's funny is because the Attitude Era, that era is so revered, but the Monday Night Wars and all that stuff. But we forget it was such a short run. It wasn't as long as we thought it was. So the fact that this episode, this week's Dynamite, is going to surpass Monday Nitro, WCW Monday Night Nitro, is crazy to me. You would have thought Monday Nitro was like 10 years, 15 years, and really it was just what I believe it was like 5 or 6 years. So 5.5. So shout outs to AEW for a company that people didn't believe in, got hot, it's kind of cooled off a little where fans wanting to see the demise of the company, but to then, go on and surpass this milestone. And shout outs to Tony Khan, you could tell he's kind of trolling Eric Bischoff, because Eric Bischoff he's probably the most celebrated, oh, I almost had you kind of guy. I've always said that about him. He gets revealed. Yeah, he beat AEW for 83. He beat WWE for 83 weeks, but yet he lost. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, like, I'm not gonna gloat about battles when I lost the war.
Yeah.
But shout outs to AEW for doing that. I'm cool with it. What do you think?
I think it's a great achievement. And the only thing I can say about AEW right now is just get your stuff together, man. Like, you have so much talent in that locker room. And we have been saying this for, I think, now for the majority of what, 3, 4 years now. Tony needs a writer. He needs real, like, people in that room putting storylines together, because it's never been a question about the action when it comes to wrestling at AEW. It's never been. It's just, where does the storyline, you have this fantasy booking, and it's like, me, Wells, and you guys can put this all together and make our own storylines way better than anything that Tony's putting out there, because it's just not consistent enough. This Moxley storyline is literally what's hurting AEW right now, and we'll see, bro. Like, as far as the achievement, congratulations, AEW. A lot of you guys live in Orlando, so I do happen to see you guys from time to time. Swerve, really cool guy when I met him in person. But
Real quickly, I didn't. You know what? I wanted to really quickly. I didn't put this on. What do you think of the whole Swerve and Booker T thing? Real fast.
Swerve and Booker T. You know what? Booker T is one of those company guys that it doesn't matter at this point. Anything that he can't say about anybody else is gonna, like, I haven't heard anything positive he said about anything else outside of WWE.
Yeah,
And
he's very much like Bubba Ray.
right. And it's at this point, like, it's just like, all right, guys, just admit it. You're a company guy. Like, you're just a hater, and you're just never going to see things in the other light. And, you know, when Vlad TV decides to fact check you on how you were reached out to and everything like that, everything just comes to show that you are a company guy, and you're going to just put out there. So I'm going to take Swerve's side on this.
Yeah, that was a bad look. That was a bad look for Mr. Booker T. But
Five time.
guys, five time. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you. Uh, guys, we know we can't wrap up an episode without sharing the highlight of the week.
He's on fire!
All right, brother. Highlight of the week is only fitting. It is only fitting. This is the Knicks first round playoff preview show, and there's no other highlight that I can think of putting than my man Precious Achua, as my boy put Isaiah Stewart of all Pistons, but Isaiah Stewart, the tough guy, and a straight poster. A straight poster, dunked on his grill, gave him like a little stare down. Shout outs to Precious. He may not get that many playoff minutes, but he showed the Detroit Pistons there's levels to this. And in this postseason, we're going to show it. But shout outs to Precious. He's had an up and down season, but there's no other way to end his regular season than this accolade of being on highlight of the week here at the Ozone.
And brother, it's not just the dunk. It's the shove after. It's the get off.
Yeah, he was like,
It's
what?
it's the get off me. That's the part that is just like,
Yeah,
ooh, just a little bit sweeter touch. And we've already heard my comments about Isaiah Stewart. I don't like the guy. I think he's a fake tough guy as well.
yeah.
And
Oh my
it's just a pretty thing to see. I just watched it again right now as we're talking, and it's
God.
just
Yeah, I'm
the
watching it.
the
I'm
shove.
watching
The
it.
shove is just so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, that was yeah, that got me out my seat. I'm not gonna front. That got me out my seat. But guys, we want to thank you guys so much for tapping in with your boys. Guys, remember to it was pointed out to me that I said follow us on IG and Instagram. So sometimes I don't know about you, bro, but our biggest critiques, our biggest critics is our wives. And my wife be sure to let me know that I kind of messed up on that. But guys, this is a jam-packed week. I told you guys we were going to update you guys on what's going on with the Ozone. and it's a jam-packed week. Dave and I, like I said, I will be in Casa de Vega to watch WrestleMania. And guys, we got a big weekend, a big WrestleMania weekend. As guys, we got an episode Friday, this Friday dropping. We will be previewing not only night 1, but night 2 of WrestleMania, guys. This is a strictly WrestleMania episode, so you won't be getting anything on the Knicks, anything like that, Yankees, Mets. That will be on the regular episode. That will be next week. But this Friday, we will have a WrestleMania preview show. We're going to be previewing all the matches, who we think we're going to win, where do we think it goes. It's going to be a jam-packed show. We're also even going to touch on the things behind the scenes.
And
As far as
WrestleMania history.
WrestleMania history, ticket sales, because that's been a conversation this year for this WrestleMania. What matches we wish we saw. And we're going to do all that. But the coverage is not done, guys, because then Saturday on night 1, after night 1, Dave and I will be live and in color. There's no safety nets, there's nothing. We will be live on our official Instagram and TikTok page. So yes, if you don't have Instagram and you only got TikTok, watch us on TikTok. If you don't have TikTok and you have Instagram, watch us on Instagram. We will be live recapping night 1 of WrestleMania. So
No filters.
we're not
So
done.
put the kids to sleep. No filters this episode.
Put the kids to sleep. This one is gonna be because we all know WrestleMania ends a little late. I'm gonna try to keep it clean. I don't think there's anything that might keep me from saying anything crazy, but like what Dave said, we'll put a disclaimer.
Let's see how he feels after a little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah, yeah. God, man. My mom listens to this show. Guys, then we got night 2. We're going live again on night 2. So after night 2, we keeping that same energy. We will be live on Instagram and TikTok to cover night 2 of WrestleMania. So guys, it is a jam-packed week for us here at the Ozone. Remember, guys, to watch our shows this weekend, our WrestleMania coverage. You're gonna have to follow us on all platforms because night 1, night 2 of the recaps will not be on YouTube. They will be Instagram, TikTok exclusives. Okay, guys. So we're gonna run it again, guys. WrestleMania preview show this Friday, 5 p.m. on our official YouTube page, followed by the night 1 post show Saturday, immediately following the end of WrestleMania night 1. Check us out on our Instagram and our TikTok because we will be doing a live and we'll be doing the same thing for night 2. Okay, so it's a jam-packed WrestleMania coverage weekend for the boys here at the Ozone. I'm really looking forward to it. I ordered a wrestling shirt that I'm pretty sure is not going to get in. By the time I get there on the weekend, that's going to suck. I'm going to look into my closet because I will be wearing wrestling shirts while we doing this.
Same.
And Mom, if you're watching, send me that John Cena shirt that my mom is so reluctantly doesn't want to give to me. Your boy's fitting into that shirt. But guys, it's been a great episode. Like I said, jam-packed WrestleMania coverage this weekend. Be sure to follow us on all platforms. But also, guys, like and comment this video. Subscribe, hit the bell for all the notifications. This is how you help us, grow this channel. We want to eventually grow this channel where, we can't do it without you guys. So, guys, remember to like, comment, subscribe, do all that. Follow us on all social platforms. Instagram, TikTok, Threads. I'm missing one. Instagram,
X.
TikTok, Threads, and X. Follow us all, guys, on everything you need to know and all the updates here that the Ozone provides. It's been a great episode, and we'll see you Friday for WrestleMania!
This is more than a podcast. It's a sports throne. Let's kick it off right. Welcome to the Ozone.